talking about how to seduce a hog. I'm talking about that special woman, the one that rates in the top 1 percentile of extra feminine homogeneity. I'm talking about the kind of woman you always dream of, the kind of woman you see sitting in a bar and you think, well, no, that one would reject me. I better shoot for this one here. I better stick in go with 5s and 6s. That one looks like a high 8, maybe even a low 9. Well, hey, buddy, no longer do you have to be afraid to approach that type of woman. Not when you've got the Greaseman seduction technique. Here's how it works. One of my favorite techniques is to, when you see one that you really love, make sure you're walking in front of her line of vision. Not looking at her, just looking down. When you get right near her, glance up as though you just happen to glance up, look at her, drop your drink, and go, oh my God! And she'll look at you startled and say, what? You say, oh, I'm sorry, it's just you resemble my wife, and she died last week, and I just thought for a minute it was you. I'm sorry. And she'll say, no, wait. Sit down a second here. And she'll dab at your tears. And she'll say, what happened? You say, well, my wife, we were so much in love, and you just look so much like her. And, you see, we were going away on vacation. We were going to go to the Bahamas. She always wanted to go to the Bahamas. And then she came down with her illness. And, well, it ravaged her body. And before I knew it, she was gone. And I was walking through this bar, and I saw you, and you looked just like her, and it startled me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the mess. I'm sorry about everything. I think I ought to just leave. And she'll say, oh, no. Here, let me buy you another drink. I'm sorry if I disconcerted you. You say, yes, you disconcerted me, because you're every bit, maybe even a little more beautiful than she is. Would you mind? I know that you're probably just sitting here wanting to have a quiet drink, but you mind having dinner with me just so I could look at you just a little while longer, just so I can remember. And she'd say, no, come on. Next thing you know, you're having dinner. And that has worked successfully with me so many times. One time, this one was like a 10. And I knew she wouldn't go for the wife routine, so I used my mother. Yeah, I said, that way I knew I'd put her at rest, because if she reminded me of my mother, what, am I going to hop on the gaga with my mother? I mean, people have called me a lot of things, but they ain't never called me that. So I told her she reminded me of my mother. Next thing you know, we were having dinner. Next thing you know, we're at her place. Next thing you know, we're sitting at the couch. Next thing you know, her lips are on mine. Next thing you know. Yeah! But the problem was, I was hopping the gaga with that thing on a regular basis. I finally did a home game. I invited her to the Grease Palace, and there we were, in the midst of Habadugagari. When the telephone rings, I had my answer machine on, and the little thing goes, beep, and I hear my mother say, Nino! Nino, what? You haven't called. You're too busy to call your mother, Mr. Big Shot Disc Jockey. Hey, Nino, call your mother. I'm waiting home. You forgot the number? It's been so long. Call your mother. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, man. That woman jumped out of the bed. I mean, she jumped out of the bed. She slapped my face. You know, I can't believe you've been using me. I feel so cheap. I feel so used. And she started putting on her jeans. I stood in front of the doorway. I said, let me ask you something. Before you leave, this has been the best 2 weeks of our lives. I got to ask you something. Before you go walking out the door, I got to ask you one thing. She said, what? I said, you mind taking out the garbage on the way out?